Hello, I'm Jennifer Castoldi from Trendease International, and we are here at Giles Miller Studio. He's going to be present in Frankfurt at Heimtextil in the Trend Space to talk about some of his projects. You'll also be able to see some of the materials. But now let's have a sneak peek of all of the different things he's been experimenting with. So Giles, tell me a little bit about the Giles Miller Studio. What is it that you guys do here?
Well, we experiment with materials and their relationship to light. It's a very kind of experimental studio, and once we've kind of worked through the sort of playful side of our investigation of materials and what they can do, then we try to apply those findings to surface, sculpture and architectural projects of varying sort of scales and contexts.
So what are some examples of projects, maybe interior, exterior?
A bit of both, yeah. So we do, from one scale, we do sort of miniature precision etched artworks for interior projects, so sort of framed artworks. And then on the other scale, we're working on buildings and pavilions, so very large scale projects across the globe, really. So we've got a few examples of some of our work, I guess, here. I mean, there's sort of plenty to see around the studio, but the predominant interest we have in sort of surface itself is using angles to create a variety of tones. So in this case, this is a very small sample, but these are high gloss ceramic pieces, and they have a slight angle in the surface. So when you oppose the angles, you get a slightly varied tone between the two different sides, and we use that concept to basically pixelate content or artworks or imagery. And we apply that same thinking to timbers, metallics, to concrete, to all sorts of different finishes, and then we can generate whatever content it is we're looking to create for our clients. This is an investigation into perspective and density, and you can see that there's two varied tones in the structure here, just from the different directional composition of the material on the two different halves. So. Again, not a project without an agenda, but just an experiment to see what kind of effects we can create with sort of the definition of space, really.
You started with cardboard. Now, do you have any types of materials that are your favorites to work with or experiment with?
Our materials do vary a lot. We work a lot with ceramics, mainly because for interior projects they're quite sort of functional and they can be very well finished, and we've got a good supplier for our ceramic work. But really, the consistency in our work as opposed to the material is the way that we use the material and the sort of textured shapes that we create. As I say, we try to harness light using things like reflection and shadow to create visual effects. So we try and apply that to a whole variety of materials, so metals, ceramics, softer materials, fabrics, leather, timber, and to all sorts of other materials when we find them. Our work kind of spans a variety of disciplines. We sort of sit somewhere between textile designers, sculptors, artists, architects. And so I think we're finding that the initial starting point of textile design and the experimental approach we take to that has taken us into kind of new areas of design, which is quite interesting.
So you've been doing your work for about 10 years now, and a lot to talk about, some of which you'll be speaking about at Heimtextil, right?
That's right. Yes, so I'm going to be speaking about the kind of fusion of art and functionality, really. We're finding one of the more interesting aspects of our work at the moment is where we create, for example, sculptural pieces that appear to be purely aesthetic, but actually have a very functional architectural role within a space. I think there's quite an interesting ground there that we're keen to explore.
Around every nook and cranny here at the Giles Miller Studio is something special to find. Now, let's venture off to Frankfurt for Heimtextil to see what we can find at the Trend Space. Come and join me.